Good morning, everyone. Let's come on in and find our seats. We're getting started just a couple minutes late. My fault. Blame me. It's all my fault. Let's see. I'm going to call this meeting to order, and let's start out with the prayer. Our President-elect, Manny DeSilvia.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let's go ahead and pray. Dear Lord, I want to thank you that you continue to bless our industry and bless all of those who are involved. We pray for Assemblywomen and for our congressmen and for the president, Lord, that you keep your hand upon them as they lead this nation. Help your spirit to sway them for the benefit of the nation each and every step of the way. And we ask our blessing for this day. Amen.
Amen. Next up, we have Larry for the pledge.
I get the pledge.
No, I told you I'm sorry. I think you can handle it.
That's right. That's right. Let's pledge to our wonderful flag. You guys are former military. Get your salute. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hoorah! Hoorah!
And Danny, if you can do our inspirational message.
Okay, in the words of Helen Keller, the best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart.
Very nice. Thank you, Danny. Greeter intro. I don't think we had greeters today. Sorry about that. If you walked in and didn't feel like you were greeted, we apologize. But welcome. Yeah. It's that time of year. A lot of people are on vacation. So, anyways, breakfast provider, I believe, is the Illinois Gateway Association. So, thanks to Shirley and our amazing staff for feeding us this morning. Excellent. First up, do we have any visitors in the room visiting us for the first time today? Oh, right. Yeah, we know these gentlemen here. Hey,
first time.
So tell us, introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
My name is Luis Gomez. I work with Wells Fargo Home Mortgage here in the Corona office. I'm a home mortgage consultant.
Excellent.
About 10 years experience, and I'm happy to be here. Definitely meet new people.
Excellent. We appreciate you being here and hope you'll join us more often. We're here every Thursday morning.
We have another Gomez.
Oh, okay, all right.
My cousin.
Right, long lost cousin.
Right.
Good. My name's Alec Gomez. I'm a loan officer. I've been in the business for about a year with American Financial Network.
All right. Please join us more often. Let's see. I guess we're ready for announcements. Steve. Oh, I'm sorry.
My name is Jennifer. I'm with Business Development. Really grateful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. You're a pretty good company. That was my first. Awesome. Now announcements from the floor.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Michelle. I'm the outreach specialist for the association. I'm asking for greeters. We only have 3 greeters for the rest of the year, and we're also looking for breakfast providers. So please, if you're interested, see me. I've been emailing and reaching out, but please respond and ask me what dates you'd like to sign up. Thank you.
Good morning, Diane West, Carmichael West Realty. Today is the day. Remember, if you bought your tickets to listen to the FBI on the cybercrime, that is today at IVAR, 11:30. If you guys have never eaten at Farfalla's, the little Italian restaurant on Arlington, they're providing the hot lunch, so please be there for networking. The program will start at 12, and you're going to get great information. If you did not get a ticket, we have a few other seats, so if you want to be at IVAR at 11:30 today, you can pay at the door, and it's going to be a great presentation. Thank you. Have a great week.
I'm hoping that you will all indulge me in just a little personal announcement. I couldn't go quietly. I have been in this area for over 30 years, and I have kind of come and gone, but I am leaving Cornerstone Escrow, and I just want you all to know that I enjoyed getting reconnected with my OPN people, and I loved meeting all the young whippersnapper YPN people. And I just want you all to know that I'm not going too far. You're not getting rid of me that easy. You have all inspired me to go and get my real estate license. And I'm sure I'm going to be introducing my replacement next week, I think.
Hi, my name is Gordon Castle, and I've been a member of TIGAR for the last 3 years, but I'm going to announce that I'm retiring. I've got my health, my happiness, and some money, and so I'm looking forward to you know what, and I want to thank all of you for your kindness, support, and love. I mean, it's been tremendous. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is John Lillywhite from SWBC Mortgage. I'm not getting my real estate license, and I'm not retired. But next week, we are having our grand opening. So if you've got nothing going on, or even if you do and you've got 5 minutes, try to stop on by and see us. We're in the Robertsons building right there at Main and 3rd. It goes from 12 o'clock where we're serving lunch to 4 o'clock we're doing beer and wine. So come on by and see us. We'd love to see you. Bye.
All right, well, to celebrate retirement and industry change, there's nothing better than going to Del Mar. Okay? I'm just telling you, partying with the best people on earth right here. August 11th, Del Mar, we are heading out from here on the bus, heading to Del Mar. It's going to be a great, great time. Ladies, grab your dresses and big floppy hats. Guys, grab your wallet, because I can never seem to win at Del Mar. It's going to be an awesome time. $35 get you on the bus, get you down there, drinks. Again, it's an absolute blast. Get in there, buy tickets today. We are just over 2 weeks away as of right now. I will see you there.
My daughter's going to be here in Texas, so you're going?
Who's going to Del Mar? I've got to get my ticket today, right after the meeting. All right.
Watch out, Hyman's in.
My golf partner there's going. I gotta maybe you can help me out with a few more tips there. Good, because I need it. I need it. You do. Like Gordon mentioned earlier, I have my health, I have my happiness, and some money. And when I checked how much money, I'm going to keep working. I don't really have good for you, though, my friend. Cheers to you. That's awesome. Hey, real quick before we get into our program here, I wanted to make a very quick announcement. Who was here last week for the CPR demonstration and presentation? Okay, excellent. Who's with me and interested in doing a group training here? Are you guys interested? I've been in contact with these guys, and John and Bunker with SWBC Mortgage have been very involved too. We have negotiated it down. If we can get enough people, they're going to take about $15 off per person. It's normally $59 per person, and we're going to get it down to $44 if we have at least 43 people. I really believe we can do that. And then SWBC Mortgage will provide some refreshments and stuff like that. So we basically, I'm going to ask if we can, next door here in the office, start getting an interest list, and then we'll kind of collectively figure out a date when we can do it, and we'll plan this for maybe in the next 30 days or so. But I'm really looking forward to it. I firmly believe that we owe this to our loved ones around us and to our community in general, because I told my story of being at that association president's meeting. That lady started choking, and I didn't know what I've seen movies and I've seen things on TV, but I don't really know what to do. And thankfully there was another gentleman who did, and she was okay, but it was very, I felt very small just sitting there not being able to help or not knowing exactly what to do. So this training's about 3 hours, and you know our group, we'll have fun. It's every class has professional firefighters, paramedics, and EMTs in every class, sharing real-world experience of what they've come across out there in the field. So I don't want to take up too much time this morning, but I want to plant that seed in your head. Let's do it. I mean, we're going to save money. We're going to do it. And 3 hours later, we'll all be better people for it. So thanks for that, and stay tuned. I've asked Shirley if we can maybe create something and start an interest list, so we'll get to work on that in the next few days. So at this point, I am going to bring up David, who is our key contact for our speaker today. First of all, though, I want to remind you all, we talk about it all the time, we are the Realtor Party. That's what we at TIGAR are involved in, and that's what CAR and NAR are involved in. We do not necessarily support Democrats or Republicans. We support candidates that look out for home ownership and property rights. Personally, God bless you, do what you want. And one of the good things about living in this great country is we're allowed to disagree or agree with our elected officials and actually have responsible conversation about it. So with that, I would like to introduce David to announce our speaker.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. I was honored by our local government relations committee to be selected as the key contact for Sabrina Cervantes when she became our newest assembly member for this district. It's a new position for me, and after all the time in the association, I'm glad I can add this one to my list of things that I've done. I'd like to give you a brief introduction of Ms. Cervantes. Sabrina was elected in November of 2016 to represent California's 60th Assembly District, which includes the communities of Corona, Eastvale, Jurupa Valley, Norco, and portions of Riverside. As a former district director for the California State Assembly, she worked alongside community organizations to enhance the local economy, broaden access to higher education, and improve the access to governmental services for the residents of Riverside. Prior to her public service, she worked as a director for the California Voter Registration Project, where she led and implemented strategic planning that would increase civic responsibility among new and eligible voters across California. In addition to her experience with civic engagement, she has engaged in multiple partnerships with nonprofit organizations. Sabrina is a proud member of the Human Rights Campaign, HRC, and the 5th PICK group of young professionals. She served on the board of directors for the University of California at Riverside. She was with the Riverside Chicano Latino Alumni Association and nonprofit organizations True Evolution and Women's Wonder Writers. Sabrina earned her Bachelor of Arts degree in political science with a minor in public policy from the University of California, Riverside, and completed an executive education program at the John F. Kennedy School of Government at Harvard University. I will say when we met her in Sacramento for our first time this year, she and her staff have been extremely receptive to the needs and requests of realtors. She participated in the CAR events in Sacramento along with us, which shows her support and openness to listen. And with that, I would like to introduce Assemblymember Sabrina.
David, I forgot to mention there's 3x5 cards on every table. If you have questions following her presentation, please write them down and we'll take it from there.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Well, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for inviting me to be with you bright and early. I appreciate, all the folks that we've been working with in Sacramento, the trips that you've taken to express the priorities for your group, just not in the Inland Empire, but for across the state. I've also enjoyed great conversations in my district office here in Corona. If those of you that have not been there, we are off of Green River Road. However, we are going to be moving here next week, and we're going to have a district office open house on August 17th from 5 to 7. We are moving to Main Street, right by the Metrolink station. And so I would encourage you to come on down. We'll have our police, fire out there, some community service groups, as well as a backpack drive. So for those of you that would like more information, reach out to my office. I have very quickly want to introduce you to My team members who are with me today, we have Justin, who many of you may have met, and we have Christopher Antonelli as well with us. But let me go ahead and share with you some of the great work and highlight some of the things that my office has been doing in the 7 months that I've been here. As mentioned by David, I was elected in November 2016 to represent the 60th Assembly District, which does include Riverside, Corona, Norco, Eastville, Jurupa Valley, and unincorporated portions of western Riverside County. Some of my priorities are veterans. I come from a family of veterans, and I am the chair of a select committee on veterans education and employment. I'm also on the Jobs, Economic Development, and the Economy Committee. We are doing a lot within that committee, and I'll kind of run by some of the bills that we've also been working on that have been moving through the legislative process. I'm on the Banking and Finance Committee, Communication and Conveyance Committee, as well as the PERS Committee, and on the Rules Committee as well. So those are just a quick highlight of the committees that I serve on in Sacramento. Aside from that, my priorities this year have been surrounding jobs, veterans education, CTE programs, as well as public safety, and we're actually working on some transportation-related projects here in the district that I will share with you here shortly. But the unique part that I want to share with you about my district that I love is that many of you know, born and raised here in Corona, and in, what was it, 1896, Corona's part of the California citrus boom, and that's Corona. But then we look at the other side of my district, Eastville and Jurupa Valley, newly incorporated. So those are the, some of the uniqueness of my district that I love to tackle and work on issues within each city that's prioritized. This recess, 4 weeks here in the district, been meeting with many of our city council members, our economic development teams, our supervisors, our sheriffs, our police, just really connecting and making sure that we're able to move forward together and that we're able to work on policy that's being effective not just here at the local level but at the state level as well. And so I just appreciate your time, and I would encourage those that have some questions maybe later on to ask those. If we don't get to them, please let's set up a one-on-one meeting in my district office. I'd love to sit down and hear from you directly, whether it's real estate related or not, any state related issue. I would love to sit down with you and hear from you. But I would love to briefly touch on the legislation that I mentioned. Being part of the Jobs Committee, I've been able to work on some tax incentives and bills for small business owners. I also have a lot of family who are small business owners throughout the Riverside County area, just understanding some of the challenges that they do face. So I have a bill, AB 162, helping small businesses to stay here in California, grow their workforce, and we are working with GoBiz, which is the Governor's Office of Economic Development, and ensuring that we have more small businesses apply for a program called the California Competes Tax Credit. And so we're opening up that eligibility for more small businesses because there's a 25% allocation for small businesses to utilize that funding. Aside from that, I've been working on a lot of veterans issues. So my mother being a teacher and hearing from military spouses, as we know, there's going to be a shortage of teachers in that profession, and so we want to do whatever we can to address that shortage. And one of the ways that my office and I are doing that is by introducing a bill that would expedite the credentialing process for military spouses. It's actually one of the highest professions for military spouses, and I've been working with many of our collaboratives here in Riverside County and hearing directly from military spouses, their experiences here in California, and we're trying to assist them in that process. We're also working on a bill related to mental health for women veterans, which is supported by my colleagues in Sacramento on both sides of the aisle who have also served themselves. Just looking at what are the needs for our women veterans here in Riverside County. So we are creating a task force that is also moving throughout the legislative process. We have a number of bills that from transportation, AB 91. I don't know if any of you are familiar with AB 91, but we have gotten this through the legislative process. It is in Senate appropriations now. It's related to our carpool lanes. How many of you actually been up to Northern California and you could utilize the carpool lanes during non-peak hours, off-peak hours? A few of you. So we want to do that here in Riverside County. We see the traffic congestion, so we want to try to figure out ways where we can work with Caltrans, RCTC in addressing that. So they've been very supportive of this measure. AB 91 would open our carpool lanes during non-peak hours, and those non-peak hours would be determined by Caltrans, as they have determined that in Northern California as well. That has received such a wide variety of support that my colleagues in Orange County can't wait to do that as well. So I told them we'd work on that together as soon as we tackle Riverside County, and then they'll have support over in Orange County. Let me quickly just let you know, out of the 14 bills that I did introduce this year, we are moving throughout the process. 11 of them, as mentioned, are going to be hopefully going onto the Senate floor, and from there, hopefully onto the governor's desk for his signature. So I would encourage you, if you're interested in any of those, give our office a call. We love support letters. That also encourages our Senator Richard Roth, who I've been working very closely with his office. His bills are coming over to my side, and my bills are coming over to his side, so we try to work together to ensure that we're successful for our region. But one of the things I do want to mention that I have not is my AJR 4 bill. And that is specifically related, it's a joint resolution, calls upon the President of the United States to save eligible California homeowners an average of $860 per year by reinstating a federal Housing Administration back loan insurance premium that was enacted under the previous administration. One of the things that we've been talking about was housing affordability and how to get especially more millennials into home ownership. It's, I believe, 16% of millennials that are homeowners. I just became a homeowner last year, and so understanding some of the challenges that homeowners do face, and of course everyone else that's within that and working within the industry as well. I believe it's absolutely essential that we work together in addressing some of the housing crisis. When we get back into session, housing will be the next big issue that we tackle, and I would encourage us to work together and see how we can make housing affordable, not just for our low-income families, but also for our middle-class families. I have a big we have a big home ownership right here in my district. And so I'm hearing from homeowners, but I'm also understanding that home ownership is at a 50-year low. So there's something that we need to do to address that. So this piece of legislation has been actually been supported on both sides of the aisle. And I have many of my colleagues who have co-authored the measure from many of the Inland Empire caucus as well. So I'm proud to be working collectively with many folks in the IE addressing some of these challenges. But for folks that would like more information on any of my bills, they are all on my state website. And you can get details on the language of the bills. And if you want any other further analysis, just give our office a call. One of the things that I want to touch on is we need to make sure that we are also building our local infrastructure, that we have quality infrastructure here in western Riverside County, whether it's transportation or telecommunications. We need to make sure that we are driving businesses right here to our backyard and that we are improving our economic development. And we want to make sure that we're building housing surrounding that and that we're smart about that. And that we are hopefully encouraging more folks to look at housing opportunities here, where there's good schools. Corona Unified is a solid school district. We've been working very closely with them, and we should be proud of our schools here. And so I want to make sure that I'm working collaboratively with our local school board members and our city council members and our real estate team here to come together to really find a solution to move forward. I understand that we may not always agree on the policy that's coming down from Sacramento. I have to find a middle ground to where I can represent. I have over 400,000 constituents. So I listen to the needs of everyone. Regardless, whatever party you may be registered with, we are here to move together collectively. And at times, there will be times when we may not be on the same page, but I will work with you to hear your concerns and try my best to address those concerns at the policy level. And that is something that you have my guarantee moving forward. And I know that you have great representatives here that have been very vocal and advocating for you in Sacramento. So I just want to leave it at that so that we have time for perhaps some questions.
While Rochelle and Paul are collecting the cards for the questions, I have one. You mentioned that home ownership is at a low. What's happening in Sacramento? Is there anything that can be done to maybe fast track some housing projects and things like that to build new homes?
So currently in Sacramento, there has been a series of bills that have been introduced. We actually, let me just name some of them here. SB 2, which is my colleague in San Diego, has introduced a real estate transaction fee bill. I actually was in a meeting with our county assessor yesterday, and we have some concerns. He related those to me, so as we move forward, we're going to be working closely together on that particular measure. SB 3, which is a $3 billion bond for low-income housing, is something that we're going to be probably looking at when we get back to the state legislature coming 3 weeks from now. As it relates to the specific question, there are a couple bills in which SB 167 and SB 540, Senator Roth is actually the author of that measure. And that particular bill allows cities to borrow money from the state to plan neighborhoods as zones for affordable housing. So there are some pieces of legislation that are going to be addressing that. I don't know where they're at right now, whether they're, how promising they are. Once we get to Sacramento, we're going to be able to take a deep dive into this legislation as administration and leadership and many of my colleagues want to make housing the next big issue we tackle before we leave at the end of September. So during that process, I reach out to my team. I have my team reach out to our locals to get their feedback. A lot of times bills are amended quite quickly and it changes the language of the legislative intent, and we may be leaning in support one day and the next day we may have to go a different direction based off of the language that is proposed. But I hope that addressed your question.
Yes, thank you. I don't know, we have a couple of questions, but I'm not sure we understand.
Yeah. There's a question regarding an $856 refund for PMI. Could someone clarify that?
Yeah, that was you just mentioned the bill to get $861 or something like that back on insurance.
Mortgage-free premiums.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you explain what that is?
Yes. So currently, so under the previous administration, so let me actually take it back a little bit. So in order, as we know, it's really difficult for first-time home buyers and some other communities, even our veterans population, to actually put down such a large down payment on your home. And so there is a mortgage-free premium that was going to help first-time home buyers. And so the previous administration was going to actually save homeowners about $860 from that reduction. But unfortunately, when our current president took office, they cut that out of the program. So we've had a lot of folks come to us and share their concerns because we want to make sure that we're heading in the right direction and in getting more people into homes as opposed to hurting them in any way. So it's just, my bill is just a resolution saying that we would love for the president to reinstate that. And it's,
what would they be giving?
so they would be cutting, we would actually be saving homeowners $860 through their mortgage fee premiums, excuse me. And so more information on that bill, if you'd like, we could provide that to you as well. But as I mentioned, it's been widely supported by many of my colleagues in the Assembly and in the Senate. And so it's just something to show we need to move in this direction as opposed to moving backwards as it relates to homeownership.
Here's another one from the audience, and actually a good question. Is there any thought to increasing the homeowner exemption of $7,500 a year, which yields to around $75 savings a year? I'm not sure I understand that.
Can that be clarified?
Whose question was that? It said, can you increase the homeowner exemption of $7,500 a year, which yields to around $75?
So if oh, go ahead. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No. Thank you. You know what? We should probably just do.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's basically, every year we get homeless exemptions if it's our primary residence. I just learned this last week from our Understanding Property Tax event. It's been there for many years. The exemption stays at $7,500. So one of the questions that was asked in that event is, is there any way we can increase that? Because $7,500 exemption for the homeowner just turns into maybe $75 per year savings on your tax.
So that's actually a really great question. We are in the process of actually coming up with legislation for the next year. And so if that is a state-related item that we can work on together, I would love to sit down with you individually and maybe folks that are also interested in that. We love ideas from our actual community. Most of my legislation is actually from the community up and not from Sacramento down. And so if that's something that is important, we can certainly look into what that would look like, who we would need to work with, what the current rules are, and we'd have to work with our legislative council to ensure that that's something that we can move forward and do. Thank you for your question. Yes.
One of the things that really negatively impacted the cities, the economic development, redevelopment money that cities had to do projects, which created jobs, and those got taken away. And pretty much every city would echo, there's a need to have that restored. I know it's a huge task, if you will, but is there any conversation going to be started to look into maybe putting that back to it? Well, because cities are doing a great job with it.
Absolutely, and that's actually something that has been coming up more and more in different conversations. I think that's going to fold into some of the housing crisis and the housing situation that we're going to be tackling. Many of my colleagues have heard that from their locals, and what are we going to do? I don't know if the governor is going to recreate something similar. It's